All right, welcome back to Fleccas Talks, the podcast, episode 172. Today on the show, Joe Biden gave a commencement speech at an HBCU that had a lot of anti-white lies in it. We are going to debunk. Then, in our migrant section, you won't believe what the illegals are doing to get even more benefits. Hint, it's very, very dangerous. Then, in Urban Decay, we have a city-by-city violence update that you're not going to want to miss. We have a fat people section in Cringe. And last but not least, we have a conspiracy corner that covers new Biden bots, the pyramids, false flag attacks, microchips and Parmesan cheese, and the Reptilians. All this and more. It's Fleccas Talks, the podcast, episode 172, ranked the best new podcast of all time.
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words. But at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Fleccas Talks, the podcast, featuring Richard Grab.
All right, one for one on the intro, as always. Guys, traditional media is crumbling. Why? Because they're hiding something very, very big. People are realizing they're being lied to by institutions they once thought they could trust, but not you. You guys have known the truth all along. With that truth comes the realization that the best time to prepare for what's coming is right now. And the first step in that preparation process is going to my website, preparewithfleccas.com. There you'll save $200 on an essential 3-month emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. Over the years, My Patriot Supply has helped millions of American families prepare for emergencies. Yours should be next. Sealed inside ultra-durable packaging, their delicious meals last up to 25 years in storage and provide over 2,000 calories daily. Eat right when things go wrong with a 3-month emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. With $200 in savings, you can get enough for each person in your family who deserves this protection. Go to preparewithfleccas.com today and get yours. That's preparewithfleccas.com, and any orders received before 3 p.m. today will be sent out for same-day shipping. Preparewithfleccas.com is the website. Everything is linked in the description. Now is the time to prepare for what's coming. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Let's get into housekeeping. All right. Thank you to My Patriot Supply for sponsoring.
Thank you, My Patriot Supply.
You guys know. It's time.
It's time.
We tell you every week, but it's time to have the emergency food on the shelf. All right. Let's get into the show. We have a fantastic housekeeping, a packed Cringe, and a majorly packed Urban Decay.
Yeah, it's a packed episode for sure.
And the conspiracy corner stuff I'm excited to get to. 4 pages of housekeeping. Let's jump right into it. First things first, the meteor shower over the weekend in Portugal. Pretty crazy stuff. This clip from this girl might be the video of the year so far. Look at this. She's there. Everything's normal. Bam. Right across the sky. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah. Incidental? She got that on accident?
I think it was incidental.
Wow.
And obviously, I think it's video of the year so far, which would obviously replace the poop going into the cow's butt from last week.
Oh, yeah, that reverse one. Yeah. How do you get that in there? I still don't know, actually.
You don't know. So that's the video of the year so far.
Okay.
All right, let's get into some of the news. We have a lot of news to get to. Diddy is obviously in the news over the weekend. That clip surfaced of him beating up his girlfriend.
Yeah, in 2016, surveillance video from a hotel hallway. Everybody saw it. We're not even going to play it, really. He hits her.
We know what happens. We all saw it. And then I just kind of want to remind everybody, remember the Vote or Die campaign that he was the face of?
Yeah.
He was really going hard for Democrats getting elected, Democrats in politics.
You think they had him then?
I think that's kind of how it worked.
Yeah.
And the Democrats are also, and it goes both sides, but the Democrats especially are tied to all the blackmail rings and stuff.
Yeah.
So once they get you kind of doing that, you do the rest for them too.
And then someone like Paris Hilton just kind of does the vote or die on accident. Like, I thought it was a good cause. Like, you look around the room and everyone else is blackmail, 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 blackmail. And then you're the one sucker. So
yeah, exactly. That's how they get you on the hook to do exactly what they want to do. And they had an article, too, in CNN. Diddy, Combs, white men like Trump need to be banished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about black men like you, Diddy?
Yeah, exactly.
He banished himself, too. Isn't he still on the run? I'm not even following the Diddy stuff.
He apologized for the beat up video, and he looked like he was in a location that didn't have extradition.
Okay,
he had like a tiki hut.
Okay, it seemed extra, yeah, and like no extraditions were happening. Okay,
yeah,
that's
he
fair.
seems like he's abroad somewhere.
On the lam abroad, on vacation.
Yeah. So when you see behind the curtain and you realize he's running the blackmail ring, that's why he's such a Democrat.
Yeah.
That's the part of the whole operation.
Okay.
All right. Speaking of Democrats, Joe Biden is still very retarded.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, he gave a commencement speech at Morehouse and HBCU, and here's part of what he said.
You missed your high school graduation. You started college just as George Floyd was murdered. And there was a reckoning on race. It's natural to wonder if democracy you hear about actually works for you. What is democracy? If black men are being killed in the street, what is democracy? The trail of broken promises still leave black communities behind.
All right,
What is democracy? You have to be 10 times better than anyone else to get a fair shot.
I wanted to wait till that one. You have to be 10 times better than anyone else to get a fair shot. I don't think you can get a 16,000 on the SAT.
Yeah.
Because the Asians, they get 1,600. Is that what it's out of? 1,600?
Or 2,400 now.
Okay.
But our scale was that. And exactly, in a time of DEI and everyone, cutting corners to make sure people of color are represented.
We've shown the stats on the show how, like, the level that you get into law schools at, black people get into college in general. It's
easier than ever.
Yeah, it's not 10 times harder.
If you're a black person who wants to be a doctor, they'll force you into it.
Yeah, they'll say, it was kind of a failing grade, but pass him anyway, right?
Yeah, we need you in there. And then he says, he talks about George Floyd, and then black men are being killed in the street, which is strange because in 2023, of the interracial homicides, 86 blacks were killed by whites and 488 whites were killed by blacks.
And we don't even need to do a per capita calculation on that one. That's absolute value. Crazy.
Yeah, crazy and backwards because ratio-wise for percentages of populations, it would make more sense if it was opposite.
Yeah.
If 488 blacks were killed by whites.
And then you'd have to control for the population size and do some math and then be like, okay, they're pretty much even. Instead,
it's completely reversed, and the smaller group is killing the larger group by like 8x.
Yeah.
So there's what's going on, but he's just trying to divide and conquer, make sure everyone's convinced that they're a victim.
Yeah. Also, in general, broad zoom out spectrum, like on the spectrum, just looking at this, you're graduating. It's every commencement speeches. You can do anything you put your mind to. You can change the world. This generation's going to do the best things ever. And instead, it's like, you guys are victims.
You're fucked.
You're aggrieved. Everything should be horrible. You got to change it all.
You're going to go outside and get shot.
And that's from the president. That's not like a VP at Facebook who got the commencement job. That's the president of the United States telling you how fucked you are. It's crazy.
Yeah, the alleged president.
Yeah, well, he's in the chair.
Yeah, he is in the chair. And then also speaking of Joe Biden and how things are different from years ago when Trump was in office, there was a graph that came out about net worth then versus now. And there was a tweet that kind of summed it up.
Yeah, it said, adjusted for inflation, household net worth was up just 0.7% through Biden's first 3 years, and it was up 16% through Trump's first 3 years. And here's the chart. It's mainly adjusted for inflation is the important part, because if you made a ton of money, but everything you buy is up a ton in costs, it's kind of net negative.
Yeah, you didn't make that much.
Yeah.
And then last Joe Biden clip, he was also senile at a different event where he thought he was vice president during COVID.
And when I was vice president, things were kind of bad during the pandemic. And what happened was, Barack said to me, go to Detroit and help fix it. Well, poor mayor, he spent more time with me than he ever thought he was going to have to.
I guess, what is he talking about even? Like the Flint water crisis
Yeah,
or something in Detroit that happened, and then he blends it with the
From
pandemic?
like 2014
I
or
know.
something. And then he blends it with the pandemic, and I was told to go fix Detroit. How'd that go? Did you do it?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's very senile and proving our overarching theme and point that he's not going to be running in 2024. He couldn't possibly, because imagine 5 years from now.
Oh my God, the decay.
Like, we see the difference between 2020 to now. 5 years from now, they're going to just hold him up and go like this.
Crazy.
All right. Speaking of COVID, Alice Stewart, a CNN anchor, died suddenly.
CNN political commentator Alice Stewart died suddenly, and no foul play is suspected, and officers believe a medical emergency occurred.
Wow. So we're not going to make any leaps about how she died because that would obviously be in bad taste. But she was very proudly vaccinated.
Yeah, got my second Pfizer shot. How about you? Thanks to Lisa and the great medical workers putting shots in our arms. Go get yours. So
Yeah. So we're not going to do any bad taste jokes. Here's her Instagram of her getting more vaccines. We all know what the spike proteins do to your immune system and hearts.
yeah,
Which is just interesting.
yeah.
And it's going to bring us to our next clip. Before we watch it, I want you guys to tell me in the comments whether or not you think Rachel Maddow should be in jail. Here's what she said back in 2021 about the vaccines.
Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person. A vaccinated person gets exposed to the virus. The virus does not infect them. The virus cannot then use that person to go anywhere else. It cannot use a vaccinated person as a host to go get more people. That means...
So that's interesting. So it sounds like she's saying medical misinformation.
Yeah.
And encouraging people with that medical misinformation to go get something drastic and experimental injected into your arm. And it ended up not being true because people who got vaccinated still got COVID. Yeah. So that was all a lie.
Yep.
But if there's negative side effects from the vaccines, which we're starting to see come out, I think a person like that
Should what? Where should
get,
she
like,
go?
Nuremberg trial? Is that what it was? Like crimes against humanity
The
type of thing?
Hague? Is there an international criminal court somewhere that might host her for a little bit?
There's something. And then these types, Rachel
A jury
Maddow-
of her peers, and it's all MAGA people. Everyone's wearing a MAGA hat, like it's clown world.
like what
but-
they do to us.
Exactly.
Because then these types were also saying, like, anyone who's against the vaccine is a threat to democracy, a threat to humanity, people who denied the election, threat to democracy. So they're quick to blanket label people who oppose the agenda and the narrative. And now that there's facts coming out, I wonder if someone like that will go to jail.
Yeah.
Besides hell,
Yeah.
where do you go? Because she's a Cresbian, too.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot going on there.
There's definitely a lot going on there. All right, well, before we move on, let's make sure we use this opportunity to help us tickle the post, juice the algo, leave a like, leave a comment again, then start yapping.
The battle for first comment has been raging. People are really trying, so.
You guys are helping us cook in the comments. It's very important. It helps the algo.
Yeah.
And you're doing a great job, and we really appreciate it. Notifications need to be on. P.O. Box needs to be full.
Yep.
All right, let's do something a little more uplifting before the more depressing stories that's coming.
Okay.
Thomas Massey.
Yeah.
He's trying to do a ban the Fed bill.
Yeah, U.S. Congressman Thomas Massey introduces a bill to abolish the Federal Reserve, and...
It's getting backed by a bunch of people, too.
Is it?
You know,
I was
the
gonna
kind
say-
of thing that gets you killed.
Yeah, Thomas Massey, make sure your security's up and running. I thought it was, I mean, Congress as a whole, there would be like a patriotic, smaller version who would back this, but this is kind of like an exercise in see what I'm up to. This is what I would do if everyone voted with me.
Yeah.
Is the way I kind of saw it.
And that's true. And maybe it's planting the seeds and getting people comfortable with the idea of banning the Fed. What is the Fed? Oh, it's not actually federal. It's a private bank. Who's behind it? All these bloodlines. That's weird.
They just print money and inflation is up. Oh,
yeah,
crazy.
they print money and then still take your taxes. That's weird. Yeah. So maybe it will help red pill some people.
Yeah, that's true. That's the positive side of it. I mean, it's not going anywhere in Congress. You guys know who's in Congress right now? Like, it's crazy. And we're actually going to show you later.
Yeah, we're going to show you exactly who's in Congress. All right, speaking of Congress, there's a Halo composer. The guy who did that song for Halo. wrong.
Yeah.
He's running for Congress as a Republican.
Yeah, Halo composer Marty O'Donnell is running for Congress as a Trump-supporting Republican, causing division in his fan base. Do you know where he's running?
I don't know where he's running, but that's great because Halo's too big to cancel.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Halo. It's not like, oh, we're going to go play a different game instead. So that's like a scalp for us. That's like a win for the culture.
Smart.
Love to see it. All right, speaking of Congress, there was a ghetto woman fighting. What's her name?
Jasmine Crockett.
Very nice.
She's in Texas. I think she represents South Dallas.
South Dallas, I'm sure is a lovely area.
I'm sure
if
they do
elected
stuff
her.
like this, like they do in South Dallas. They do something.
So she got into a little bit of a sparring verbal match with MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Anna Paulina Luna. Here's a little snippet of it.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling, if someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold on.
part
I'm
of the.
trying to find clarification on what quality.
Chairman, motion to strike
I
those
had no idea
words.
what you just said.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just said
You just voted to do
Y'all did
it.
it first, so you don't
just
want to
voted to do
Say
it.
you're gonna get
Order,
Marjorie
order.
on
I'm
the
trying to
lead.
get clarification.
Look it, calm down. Calm
No,
down.
because this
I
is
would
what
like
y'all
to get
do.
through proceedings.
So I'm trying
Hey,
to get
Miss
clarification.
Crockett, you're not
Y'all wanna
recognized.
play
Miss
games.
I can't hear
Crockett.
you with your
And
yelling.
You don't want
calm
me
down.
To be,
Can
no,
you please calm down?
Don't tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all
Please
talk
calm
noise
down.
and then
Yeah.
you
You're out of
take
control.
That's what's going on in our Congress. And it makes you think. You know that movie Idiocracy?
Yeah, of course.
That's kind of like what happened in Idiocracy was like the people became so stupid they couldn't even do what they used to do with like the systems. They couldn't even, the elected officials were all stupid. They couldn't farm. They replaced water with like Mountain Dew.
Everything was advertisements. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that's kind of like where things are going.
Yeah.
But obviously this person in Congress is a low IQ individual. That's not racist.
No.
That's
yeah.
just the truth. And if you don't think it is, tell us what your IQ is.
Here's what the quote was. Y'all talk noise and then you can't take it. Because if I come and talk shit about her, y'all gonna have a problem. That was Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett right there.
So if you're not low IQ, what is your IQ?
Yeah,
Just tell us the number.
Take a test. Tell us the number. Show us some test scores. This is a lawyer, too. She's a lawyer by trade who got elected. And I want to know what kind of law school she got into and what kind of grades and the LSAT. The LSAT's a great indicator.
What was your LSAT?
Just show us your LSAT score, and then we'll leave you alone.
Here she is on TV saying she's smarter than us.
They encourage me to be who I am because I really am doing and experiencing things that so many other Black women are experiencing, but unfortunately, their stories aren't highlighted. And I also took this as an opportunity to, again, flex on MAGA and let them know that I will always be smarter than you. You can call me a DEI hire all you want to and lodge all the other insults that they continuously lodge against me. But
Lodge insults.
Yeah.
I think she means lob insults.
Yeah, lodge a complaint. I don't know. She's a little confused. Let's just see the LSAT scores. We can solve this, you know?
Exactly. All right. Let's move on.
They're calling that the Ghettos-burg address?
The Ghettos-burg address.
Yeah, because, you know, and guys, friendly reminder, this is Congress. We said it a couple episodes ago. You need to be, Congress controls the purse strings, right? They tell us where the money's spent, where it's going. So you need to be tax avoidance maxing. Hire your 15-year-old nephew. Start siphoning off money. What's that? Is that a business expense? It probably is. Make them catch you. So, you know,
smart.
we don't need to be giving these types more money.
Yeah. That's who decides how we spend it. Yeah. All right. Let's get into something funny. We have some funny stuff before we get to the migrant section.
That was funny. That was just sad, too.
Yeah, that's funny, but also that is our Congress.
You laugh, and then you realize it's our government, and we're fucked.
It's our government, too. It's not like some stupid country.
Yeah.
All right. We have a funny thing. The census, names from the census from 1910. Tony Retardi.
Yeah, this guy is a Twitter account, actual names, and all he does is constantly post unique names from past U.S. censuses. So, hey, Tony Retardi.
And then there's a Sopranos meme that goes along with it. I'm going to have Richard Raffway read.
Oi, hey, oi, I'm fucking retarded over here. Thank you.
There you go.
Actually, that kind of reminds me, Tony Retardi is kind of like Smelly Scenario.
Hey, smelly scenario.
And you know what? We have another one too. You know how your iPhone, if you get a scam call, it says scam likely. Sometimes we just pick it up and go, hey, scam. What's up?
Hey, what's up, scam?
So scam likely, first and last name.
Scam likely. All right, let's get into some more funny stuff. Trumpisms.
Yeah.
This was brought to my attention via Mimetic Sisyphus's Twitter, which a lot of things are.
Yeah.
And someone said, how many Trumpisms do you use in daily life? For me, many such cases, very disrespectful. And then Mimetic Sisyphus replied, me and my wife said, you are fake news nearly the length of our relationship.
Yeah.
So there's a few. Do you have any offhand?
No, I do sometimes like to say, wow, I'm hearing that for the first time when something is old news. That's my number one, but very disrespectful is probably my biggest one that I actually use.
And that also can be, the longer version is nipples protruding, very disrespectful, which is Barney Frank that time when he had his nipples protruding. I have a couple written down. Wrong. So when people say something that's incorrect, you just go wrong. That's what Trump did. Many such cases, very disrespectful. Thank you, Kanye, very cool.
Yeah.
And it could be thank you, Richard, very cool. Thank you, Show Watcher, very cool. Big if true, China. It's called we do a little trolling.
Okay.
And then we replace it with it's called with whatever you want.
Yeah.
Obama.
Okay.
Bing bong, and many people are saying it.
Okay, yeah. Many
Those are
people
my
saying
favorite
it's good.
Trumpisms.
Yeah.
Those are ones I use almost daily.
You don't realize the cultural impact a man can have after 4 short years of being president, but it's huge.
And all
Joe Biden's got nothing.
Yeah. Joe Biden-isms are like, he can't even do one.
Yeah, true. They're all botch jobs. They're all fuck-ups. So.
Yeah, they're all things that he said by accident because he was trying to say something normal.
Smart.
All right, let's go to our migrant section. We have a couple updates here, but we're going to get into the meat of it in just a sec. First things first, 84% of the measles in the measles outbreak in Chicago were because of illegal Venezuelans.
Yeah, we pinpointed it down to Venezuelans specifically. Staggering 84% of measles cases in Chicago are Venezuelans. So it's not even just like it's going around the migrant shelter. It's all in the Venezuelan pockets.
And they're doing a big chunk of all the crimes too.
Yeah, they're actually my least favorite. And Venezuela is the one that we've previously reported on that crime is down, murders are down in Venezuela because all their pieces of shit are coming here. They love stealing from Macy's. They love terrorizing Chicago. So
yeah, they love it.
Not doing the best. Like that's pretty horrible outreach for the nation of Venezuela, you know? And I know there are good Venezuelans out there, normal people. But when you say, but when you send all the shitty ones here, it's bad.
It leaves a bad taste in our mouth. All right, and then this was an illegal who did an interview about how she's unhappy living in Rochester.
Yanidi Pena. She was overcome with emotions. She feels the weight of the world on her right now. It took her and her children a month and a half to get from El Salvador to Mexico, where they crossed the country into Texas. They got moved to New York City, and they were in a housing program that sent them here to Rochester. They arrived in January of this year and lived at the Holiday Inn downtown for 4 months, and they were moved here 3 weeks ago.
Muy traumática.
It's very traumatic.
Porque no creí.
She says it's been quite traumatic. Everything that was told to us to come to Monroe County, to Rochester, hasn't been fulfilled.
Do you like...
Her name is Yanidi.
Oh, she's needy.
Very needy indeed. So she's not happy with Rochester after living in a hotel that was free and getting free food every day in New York City for months.
Because she also dragged her family here. That's the only reason she's getting this free service is because she came very needy.
Yeah,
much
she
like
came
her
very
name.
needy, and Rochester's not good enough for her.
Yeah, it's traumatic to live in Rochester.
It's like
wait until you pay your own bills.
Yeah, you're gonna get blown out. Why don't you go back to El Salvador?
Yeah, you'll know about trauma when you see an electricity bill and it's up 300% from 2 years ago that you didn't even know about, right?
Yeah, exactly. El Salvador's doing great right now. I don't know why you'd want to come here from there.
Freebies.
So obviously a Biden victory is very necessary for these types because if Trump wins, everyone's gonna get deported. Which takes us to our next piece. You know, my theory is that the illegals are going to vote in the election. And if they, it's not even like illegal in their mind. They're just thinking, oh, I need to get Trump out so I can stay and get more stuff like I've been having for the last few months.
My ability to stay here is contingent on Joe Biden winning, and I will do anything to make that happen, as we'll explain later. We'll see the lengths that they go in a couple minutes.
Yes, exactly. But according to the Associated Press, that's not happening. It says non-citizens voting, already illegal in federal elections, becomes a centerpiece of 2024 GOP messaging.
It's already illegal, guys. Nobody would ever break the law, right?
Yeah, this is like the gun-free zone energy.
Yeah.
Guys, so you can't bring a gun here.
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowed.
It's impossible.
It's illegal.
Do you see the sign?
And there was a meme that went along with it. It was a cop meme. Can you read it?
It says, "Ma'am, I'm afraid your story doesn't add up. Rape is against the law."
Yeah.
Like, imagine reporting a crime and then somebody being like, "It's already against the law. How could that happen to you?" It's retarded logic.
Yeah, exactly. And then here's just an example. This is from North Carolina. To vote, you need to be a U.S. citizen.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next line below it says, citizenship documents are not required to register.
Wow.
I feel like that's the case a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
So
you have to be a citizen, but we'll take your word for it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we will see what happens. There's this graph that Rapway loves.
Yeah. Well, this is the cycle of all leftist things, right? It's not happening. Then it becomes a right-wing conspiracy. Then it might be happening. Then eventually they say it's happening and it's good.
Yeah.
So we're here.
Yeah, exactly. The illegals, they're not voting. And then that's just a right-wing conspiracy. Well, maybe they are voting a little bit, but they're voting to get rid of Trump.
They had to vote. Yeah, soon it'll be good. Why this illegal voted against Donald Trump. And it'll be like no charges pressed, Biden's still president or something.
Exactly.
They'll only write that article if Trump loses.
Exactly. All right, well, let's get into the thing we teased in the intro.
Yeah.
Illegals now, to get more benefits, are staging robberies on themselves so they can file as a victim status thing and get more benefits, I think.
It's not more benefits, but it's easier to stay in the country if you can prove that you've been a victim of a crime, basically, because it's the State Department or federal agencies see it as like a hardship. And so what did some brilliant migrants do? They set up a chop shop to basically make sure you were a victim of a crime, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hundreds paid to be robbed by phony holdup crews to gain favorable immigration status, feds say. And then the robbers accidentally shot someone during one caper. This is going to be a lot of reading, but this is kind of an important story and shows you how desperate these people are to stay in the country. And, they'll fake a whole robbery, but they won't vote in the election that's not even checking IDs or citizenship documents. I don't know. Rings not true to me, right?
Same.
Federal prosecutors on Friday announced charges against 5 people in connection with the Chicago-based scheme that staged armed robberies so the purported victims could apply for U.S. immigration visas reserved for legitimate crime victims. So it's a special type of visa that they're trying to gain access to. Officials believe hundreds of people, including some who traveled from out of town, posed as customers in dozens of businesses across Chicago and elsewhere, all hoping to win favorable immigration status by becoming victims of prearranged armed robberies. So you start to see some ethnic types getting in your store like, oh, I'll buy this. And then the guy's like, what's going on, right? During a staged holdup in Bucktown last year, this is all Chicago, and we're going to tell you what kind of migrants these are towards the end. During a stage holdup in Bucktown last year, one of the robbers accidentally fired their gun, severely injuring a liquor store clerk, according to one of the sources. During that caper alone, 5 customers were robbed. So it's a bunch of illegals with questionable citizenship status loitering around a liquor store, waiting for something to go down. And then the guy who gets shot is the store clerk. So it's not like an accidental... The victim.
He doesn't get anything.
Yeah, he's not in on it.
He got shot.
And he gets shot. All right. So the stage robbery crew operated professionally, we are told. They used stolen cars and sometimes outfitted them with plates taken from other cars. They would have getaway cars on standby. There were obvious signs of advanced planning and know-how, but cops started to get suspicious. Why would 4 or 5 seasoned armed robbers go through all of that trouble for robberies that netted them virtually no cash? Most victims only had a few dollars on them, and the stores generally lost less than $100. Why were robbery victims going to stores to buy something like that without taking enough cash or credit cards? The police finally caught a break when they arrested one of the fake robbery teams. All of the members were juveniles, and almost none of them had histories of committing serious crimes. They were also more than happy to tell the police that the robberies were staged, that the victims were in on it, but they didn't know why. Federal prosecutors said on Friday that each purported victim paid thousands of dollars for the privilege of being robbed at gunpoint. Ringleaders then instructed the victims to be at a certain location at a specific time to be robbed. And then ultimately, state prosecutors dropped the charges against the robbers because was it really a robbery if the victim asked them to do it? You know, it was kind of like a weird legal, like, I don't know if we're going to get the prosecution. And federal prosecutors said the robbers occasionally hit their victims, hoping to give the robberies an air of legitimacy. So it's basically just an all fugazi, fake thing so that they could get the appropriate visa. And last piece here, after the robbery victims went to their local police department to secure documentation they were victims of a crime that had qualified for them to apply for a U visa. That's an immigration status reserved for victims of certain crimes who have suffered mental or physical abuse and are helpful to law enforcement or government officials in an investigation or prosecution, right?
I just want to help.
So they all come up and they're like, oh, hey, can I get a copy of that police report? Like everybody's coming in and asking. So this is so backwards and upside down that like they come into America and are committing fake crimes to get this
Even
done.
more better stuff.
And here's the thing. We may have been misleading you, thinking these are Central Americans. The men charged with conspiracy to commit visa fraud, along with 4 others, Bikabhai Patel of Elizabethtown, Kentucky, Nilesh Patel, Ravina Ben Patel, Rajni Kumar Patel of Racine, Wisconsin, and Ravanaban Patel. All Patels.
Patel.
So if you see a flock of Indian people coming into your store and just like kind of loitering around while checking their watches, it's about to be a fake robbery, boys. So, I mean, that's like organized smart shit. I wonder who the robbery crews were, if they hired local youths, you know, as the New York Post would say. But kind of crazy scenario and shows the desperation people are under to just stay in America under any circumstances, right?
Yeah. And this whole scheme, this went down in Texas too. And there was a bystander who wasn't in on it who took his gun out, and you'll see here in the clip.
This is video that we showed you in January of what looks like a robbery turned homicide when police say a bystander shot and killed the robber and left the scene. But now we know this robbery was a setup. The man killed is 22-year-old Rashad Scott. Court records say William X. Winfrey paid Scott to fake the robbery so that the fake victims could apply for U visas. Records say police found 2 other fake robberies Winfrey set up before this one.
He didn't deserve what happened to him, and he was making a dumb decision. I'm not defending him, of course, but he didn't deserve to die.
Very sad, but that's what happens when you do it in Texas.
Yeah, it's not actually just a free-for-all. You can't control for every variable. It's a extremely dangerous thing you're up to, and RIP in peace, right?
Yep. Well, that's the end of our migrant section. Yeah. Let's move on to my favorite part of the show.
But no, man, migrants wouldn't vote in an election that they don't have any right to be in.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, that's the main theme.
It's illegal.
It's illegal. They would never fucking do anything illegal.
These entire rings of fake robberies, which are so illegal. People are dying.
I know.
They're not going to vote.
And I'd be interested to see what the U visa spike is recently. Once, you know, because once they discover a scam or a hustle, it just goes, boom, let's hammer this until it's basically so easy to expose that this is a scam.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's a straight line up.
Exactly. All right, let's get into our conspiracy corner, page 4, final page of housekeeping. My favorite page of housekeeping. A lot to unpack here.
All
right, first one is the Biden clip. Him side by side from recent times and also him 2 years ago.
So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays. Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. Since then, he hadn't shown up for debates. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal.
So clearly not the same Biden bot. Obviously, the one on the right is AI. But it could be the old clone versus the new worse clone.
Okay.
The most recent clone we're dealing with Biden-wise is a bad clone.
Yeah.
But
every once in a while, there is a bad batch.
Yeah, there is a bad batch, but it could, if it's not a clone, he could have been taken over by a viral lizard or reptilian.
Oh.
VRIL. You guys should look it up. VRIL lizards or VRIL reptilians. They take over your body, and it could have obviously taken over Biden in this situation. The way they do it in a ceremony.
Oh.
The lizard, the elites will have like these reptiles take over humans in like a ceremony. It's very painful.
Okay.
And that's like what a reptilian is. Everyone says the reptilians. They consume your soul and they take over your nervous system. And then that's where like the term body snatcher is too.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
thank you for educating me on that, telling me that.
And they can also enter your body through parasites.
Okay.
That's like a small version, and then it grows and eventually takes over. So something to look into.
All I know is this one on the left here looks a lot angrier. This one, he was kind of normal, and this one, they got him mad.
Yeah.
So
Well, it
maybe
could just be how the mask is around his eyes.
Okay, fair.
But the one on the right, that it's definitely AI.
Okay.
And then the current one is maybe he's taken over by a viral lizard.
All right.
All right, let's get into cicadas. Here's a picture of cicadas everywhere going crazy. That's kind of the clip I was looking for.
Yeah.
You know, where are all the cicadas? And then this guy thought he found a cicada, but look what he found instead.
Outside a while ago, when I got my dog, throwing his stick, we heard a bunch of coming across the street. I figured it was a bunch of locusts or bugs, I don't know, June bugs or something. They flew over our head probably 7, 8 feet. One of them hit the pole, and you could hear it on the ground. I thought it was one of those katydid things. But you tell me, why in the hell would this shit right here be flying around? Somebody please explain to me what the hell that is.
Pretty
Nanobot.
interesting.
Yeah.
Little nanobot, little surveillance bot, little data collector.
It's not nothing.
Use the cover of all the broods of cicadas coming, and then you send your nanobots out.
Okay, what do you think the intention was? What do you think the goal was?
Could be surveillance, could be more, could be worse, could be bio attacks.
Okay.
It's just something, I mean, the guy found the thing.
Keep an eye out for it.
Yeah. So the cicadas, you might assume, are just the bugs. Look close.
We should put a bounty out as a show. If you find one of those, please send it to us and
Send it to us, we'll give you $500.
Yeah, we need a bounty.
And a bonus land and a lot of merch.
Okay, why do you always overdo it?
Because I need the nanobot. I want the
nanobot. For
nanobot.
100. You're always overextending yourself.
Well, I really want it. Someone's going to find a nanobot and be like, I don't feel like going to the post office.
Did you already forget about the Planet Fitness cancellation thing?
But it's harder to find a nanobot than it is to cancel Planet Fitness, especially with a lot of you guys who weren't going anyway.
All right, I'll give you that.
It's
I'll give
easy
you that.
to cancel Planet Fitness.
I'll give you that.
You've
But
been
you
meaning to
always
cancel anyway.
You always overpromise.
I want a nanobot.
Okay.
All right. Next is a tweet about how there's potential terror against LGBT events.
U.S. State Department has issued a worldwide travel alert, warns of terror threat against LGBTQ events.
So this could be the Black Swan event they're looking for. They could frame a Trump supporter who attacks some gay pride thing.
Okay.
And that kind of makes sense, right?
June is coming, so there's going to be a lot of those gay events.
June is coming. End of May is when they did George Floyd.
Ooh.
So it's like we're in the time period of we need the event to happen, so it's a hot summer.
Yeah, it's called a hate crime honey hole. It's got a short window.
Yeah, so we're in that window now, so keep an eye out for a false flag attack and framing Trump supporters.
All right, false flag, nanobot,
viral
lizards. Okay.
Reptilians.
Keep going.
Next is they put microchips in Parmesan cheese. Someone DM me that.
All right, rings true.
I don't know who it is. I haven't looked into it much more than that, but it's something to think about.
Okay.
Our second to last thing, the pyramids. Can you read that?
I was silent in the vehicle on the way back to the hotel in Cairo. My stomach hung like lead. My colleagues with me on that second trip to Giza? Giza. Jeez. Nudged. Tess, you okay? You're awfully quiet. Once seen, this cannot be unseen. And it's a labeled pyramid that says wave crest erosion, wave trough erosion, karst erosion, and zero sea state waterline.
Yeah. And this rings true to me. You know why?
Why?
What's a beach with no ocean?
Sand.
Desert.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And what would the ocean look like if all the water disappeared?
I don't know. Sand, coral, desert. Okay.
So you have like this desert, and it's like, damn, this is crazy. Nothing grows here.
Okay.
But it could be because all the water left. And then what you have left is all this sand and dirt from the bottom of the ocean, but all the water's gone.
Yeah. Here's where you lose me. When this guy's tweeting and he goes, I was silent in the vehicle on my way home back to the hotel in Cairo. My stomach hung like lead. It reads like he's doing a creative writing exercise. Like he's trying to say, like, look at how good I can do this. So he lost me there.
They also found crustacean fossils near the pyramids.
Okay. All right.
And also, some people think that the pyramids were like an anthill for the viral lizards back in the day.
Okay.
And that's why they needed to get flooded. But we're not going to get into that.
All right, we're done with Conspiracy Corner, right?
Last but not least, some people are saying that the sun could have got swapped out on that eclipse day.
Oh.
So keep an eye out for that. I'm doing an experiment myself. You saw me before put that plant outside, right?
Yeah, I saw you.
I had a plant and I put it outside so the leaves are facing away from the sun. And I'm going to see if the leaves turn towards the sun. If they do, it's the real sun. If they don't, it's a fake sun and everything's going to die. And then they're going to be like, oh, global warming.
All right.
All right, that's the end of housekeeping. We're moving on to Cringe of the Week. All right, our first piece of Cringe of the Week is actually a stat. A new article came out. And it says, study, risk of suicide increases 12 times after gender-affirming surgery. Is anyone surprised?
Yeah, so this was from a new study that came out, and it said individuals who underwent gender-affirming surgery had a 12.12-fold higher suicide attempt.
That's interesting.
So that's kind of long been the thing that we always talk about on the show, that they're threatening. Like, if you don't let us get this care, we're going to...
Yeah,
I'm going to do it.
Do you want a daughter or a dead son?
Yeah, you want a dead daughter or a new son.
Yeah, that's what they try to do and threaten. And obviously they have mental problems because they have all their wires crossed because they think that they're the opposite sex. And who would have guessed that after cutting your dick off and replacing it with a rotting stink hole that smells like poop and is rotting out and you have to like painfully keep open, that you'd hate your life after that?
I don't know. I can't imagine I'd want to live with something like that.
Right.
But I mean, that was just me vibing it out, and it turns out I'm exactly right with this. This was the Cass report, apparently, and there are still states out there that are letting they're going, hey, gender affirming clinics, come on in, right?
Yeah, which is crazy. And then everyone doesn't report this. Like, if you told this to trans kids, hey, you'll probably just grow out of it, like everyone knows. You do a lot better than saying, well, let's start cutting you up. What do you think you need?
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you want off?
Yeah. Do you think they're going to follow the science on this one?
No. And it's sad. This is children. This is just kids that are kind of messed up, that don't know any better, that need like a accountable, secure adult in their life.
Someone to say no.
Who could say, hey, buddy, I know shit's tough. You just keep going to school and you'll get through it.
Hey, buddy, life's hard. Ride it out.
Yeah. Exactly. Speaking of trans kids, a teacher got paid after a pronoun settlement. Can you give that a read?
Former high school teacher Jessica Tapia, who was fired for refusing to use students' preferred pronouns, has been awarded a $360,000 settlement from the Jurupa Unified School District in California.
Good.
So, again, this is like the blackface kids who had the acne mask. It's like, you could have skipped this. You could have skipped the $360K in a legal battle if someone was just like, all right, she's not doing it. I can't fire you for that. You're probably pretty right.
Yeah.
But this is kind of like we're getting wins slowly, on who was right and who's an idiot and what's constitutional and what's not, and who's the victim. Obviously, trans kids and people trying to push the messed up gender ideology stuff, right?
Yeah. And who's perpetrating it? The LGBTs.
Yeah.
All the Dylan Mulvaney's who say, oh, this is great, live your best life, you need to go be who you are. God made a mistake when he made you. I think they should get the Rachel Maddow treatment. They should go to jail for when kids do something horrible to themselves.
Nuremberg, The Hague, all sorts of trials. And then the MAGA hat jury looking at them like this.
We're going to deport 50 million illegals, and we're going to put everyone else on trial.
Yep.
All right, everyone's getting on trial. All right, let's go to our next clip. It's not trans related. Let's get off the trans topic.
All right.
These guys work at the Mercedes dealership, and they're complaining that they don't get paid enough because the cars they make are so expensive.
Building a luxury car, I should be able to afford something nice.
We have numerous cars that go in the six-figure range, and a Maybach can cost as much as $250,000.
We build about maybe 10 to 15 of those cars a shift. So you're looking at $3 to $4 million just on those cars alone.
You're selling a car for an obscene profit, but yet you claim you don't have the money to increase your overhead by improving your employees' pay and benefits. That doesn't mesh. That doesn't align.
Doesn't mesh.
Yeah.
So the car costs over $100,000, and what Mercedes gets all that profit, $100,000 of profit.
It goes right to them. They take it to the bank, and nothing else happens along that supply chain or the factory or the machines. They don't cost anything either.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, do you own the patent for that V12 engine?
Yeah.
Do you own all the metal? Do you own the multi-million-dollar machines in the assembly line? Why don't you go build one at home?
Yeah, you can build your own car, kind of like a Mercedes, just a little different. Don't infringe on the patents, and go start selling cars, right?
Yeah, go build one at home is my recommendation.
And like, I'm sympathetic to people who want to say like, hey, wow, Mercedes made record profits last year. Well, like, we're not getting paid as much. The CEO got crazy stock options. Like, I'm sympathetic to that. But then to kind of just say like, I don't know, we should give more. Like, you kind of need a plan, and you kind of start to get annoying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not obviously a capitalist, exploit them, get the child labor in. You know, there is a line, but then it's like, you're one part of a giant machine that makes a car. And then you think, because 6 cars rolled off the line in an hour, that means you're worth, 6 cars, 600,000. I should get half of that.
Yeah.
It's like crazy math in leaps and bounds, right? As if there's no supply chain, no logistics,
no shipping.
There's not like a group of 10 people in hard hats who walk along the production line and went to engineering school for years to figure out the best way to manufacture a car in the right process, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And then keep in mind, too, whenever the unions get their way and demand higher wages, all the car manufacturing just goes abroad. All right, we'll do it in Mexico. All right, we'll do it in China.
Kind of what happened, yeah.
That's what happens every single time. There's actually a meme about this that you sent to the chat.
Yeah, this guy, he goes, this is like some Reddit type post. He goes, I have to work an hour before I can afford to buy 3 of these. And it's just something. I don't even know what it is. Some widget. And he goes, I make 3,000 of them every hour. Like, and he's looking at the thing like.
His Reddit face looks like Rat Boy.
Yeah. And then somebody quote tweeted it and said, we can't have factories in America because the white Reddit guy you pay $27 an hour to push a button on a $1 million machine immediately starts thinking he's the one making the product.
Yeah, and if you make so many an hour, why don't you just start your own widget business?
Yeah, steal them. I don't know. Figure something out, right? But there's like this alienation that comes where people just immediately think like, I'm doing this. I'm the one. They show up at work and they clock in and get paid hourly, and the machine prints off 3,000 of them, and he goes, I'm making these.
Yeah.
When you didn't do anything, so.
And then there's so much that went into it that got the assembly line up to assembly line status. And then the final piece is, all right, plug in these people who know how to work this one part of the machine.
Yeah.
So people kind of forget. All right, let's go to our next clip of Cringe. There was a Burger King bug found in this guy's food. Look at this.
Bro, tell me why the fuck this thing just fell out of my Burger King and is now fucking moving on its own. What in the actual fuck?
You can hear him chewing still in the background.
Yeah, he finished. I think he bit around it.
Yeah, exactly. According to our boy Python Cowboy, that is a tapeworm.
Really?
Which is disgusting.
Yeah, that gets in you and he starts siphoning off all your nutrients.
And it could be the early stage of a viral lizard.
Okay. All right. This is Cringe. Conspiracy theory's over. Conspiracy corner.
So keep in mind, this is the kind of shit you find in fast food.
Mm-hmm.
And a Whopper combo meal, Whopper fries and a drink, is probably $15.
Less, right?
I think it's up
10,
there.
11, 12. You get the large.
Say it's 12.
Okay.
And I think it's more expensive than that. You can get a grass-fed ribeye steak for $10, $12.
Yeah.
$15, maybe slightly more expensive.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just do that?
I know. That's kind of the thing with this inflation. Fast food is really pricing itself into like a retarded zone.
Yeah.
Where I can just get a chunk of steak, right?
See, I used to come here and get this whatever combo meal because I'd get 2 cheeseburgers, a drink, and fries for like $5.
It was slop. It was $5. We all knew it was slop the whole time. It was $5 and it was ready in 30 seconds, right?
And you go on the way home or on your way to work and you get the dollar menu.
Yeah.
The dollar menu's gone.
The value proposition is kind of over, and now there's tapeworms in the Whoppers.
Yeah. So just, it's time to prioritize quality.
Yeah.
Let's go on to our next clip. The food schlop pile this family's eating.
Sorry.
Only 2 uncooked hot dogs for everybody?
Yeah, and then they fight over them.
And they're fighting over it. I can't relate to this because, believe it or not, because my grandfather, he used to eat spaghetti with a fork and a spoon, and he'd spin the spaghetti in the spoon with the fork. And he wasn't rich, he didn't have any money, but he had class.
Yeah.
And class isn't money. It's different than this, though. This is how Jerry eats.
Yeah, this is a unique way to eat. And I think I'm kind of on these guys are doing this to get a rise out of everybody. They don't normally eat like this. They don't put one overfilled plate slop pile in front of everybody and grab at it. I think they're trying to piss everybody off on social media. And also, you know who gets really pissed at this? Black people.
Yeah.
Black people say you're setting us back 500 years. They get pissed at this. So I don't know. I think it's more social media than it is what they were really up to.
I think it's real.
Fighting over the uncooked hot dog.
I think it's real because they post a ton of these videos. So whether it's fake or real, they're still eating like a meal every day this way.
That's true.
Because they post every day or, multiple clips. So they're kind of doing something.
Yeah, they backed their way. It started as a joke, but then all of a sudden you are eating like this every day. So that has to do something to your brain.
Exactly. Like if you posted 500 times in the last year or two, it's like you had 500 meals with your hands like this.
And they are cooking the slop.
And people do eat like that.
And I've seen it before where they dump like a goat's head on the plate and shit. They start slurping up brains.
Slurp it up.
Yeah.
And you know how they say the family unit is the building block and foundation of the West?
Yeah.
Things are going in a certain direction where if you have family units that are like this, this is not Western,
Yeah.
So if this becomes the norm in the West, what do you think happens to the West?
I think at a civilizational level, extinction event.
It goes down.
Decline.
It goes down. All right, let's go to our next clip.
I think they know what they're doing, though, for the record.
So you think they have forks and knives and good manners besides this?
All right.
Yeah.
No, I can't see any signs of that.
No one's setting the table.
Okay.
Let's just leave it. No one's setting the table. All right, let's go to the fat pig who wasn't pushed on the plane enough.
I'm a plus-size wheelchair user, and on a recent flight to the SeaTac airport, I requested wheelchair assistance, as I always do. When it came time for me to deplane, I saw the employee who would be assisting me with my wheelchair waiting for me in the entry of the jet bridge. As I approached her and she realized she'd be assisting me and not one of the smaller passengers, she started to walk away with the wheelchair while making comments about my size. Even when I told her I really needed the chair and needed her to let me sit down in it, she blatantly ignored me and kept walking. I was then forced to walk up one of the longest jet bridges I've encountered, and she didn't stop. By the time she let me reach the wheelchair and sit down, my lips were white. My oxygen levels had dropped and I almost fainted. This was my first time flying without oxygen. This woman just assumed I could walk and would rather me do that, instead of her having to push someone my size up the jet bridge. All the other attendants wheeled their passengers up the jet bridge, but my needs were disregarded. This is discrimination. Nobody should be treated this way.
It's called Too Fat to Fly.
Yeah, why are you taking so many flights, lady? You're too fat to fly. You don't know that yet?
Yeah. And, we're not being mean. I saw a video over the weekend that was supposed to be sad. It was a sad video. And it was of a really fat guy on the back of a boat. And they pushed him in the water to swim.
Yeah.
And then to get back on, like 5 guys had to push him up.
Yeah.
And they played this sad music in the background as if like he was dealt some tough hand in life or something, or he was like disfigured.
Yeah, as if he didn't eat 6 hours a day every day to get there. It wasn't his own absolute fault, right?
And he was too fat to swim.
Too fat to swim?
Too fat to go on a roller coaster, too fat to ride a horse.
That comes quick. Both of those come quick.
That comes first.
Yeah.
Then it's too fat to swim, and then too fat to fly.
Yeah.
Like, this is all stuff, but you play the bad music and you pull people's emotions and their heartstrings, it removes the accountability from the situation. This person wasn't dealt a bad hand. This person was eating a ton of shit.
And I think we covered this girl before. She was advocating for hotels making their enlarging their hallways. That's structural. That's structural. So this girl, she you know, the employee kind of used their discretion there and was like, I don't know. The jet bridge is long for the employee too.
And it's uphill.
That's a heavy push.
It's impossible. It's dangerous for everyone else in the plane.
Maybe it was about the employee's lower back safety. Maybe there were some things that you weren't considering.
Exactly. She wasn't dealt a bad hand. She ate too many pulled pork nachos covered in sour cream.
Oh my God. You see the sour cream dips and then she dips the pulled pork nacho in and then like, you know, normal people, they go, that's too much sour cream. They kind of spread it amongst another chip. No. That whole
she goes,
sour cream.
That's too much sour cream.
And then she eats it anyway. She acts like she make a mistake, but she slurps it up.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
And it was probably fun getting that big.
That's the thing, too.
4,000 calorie days?
Don't tell me you weren't doing whatever you wanted, you know? You were having fun then, and now you're miserable. You have fun when you eat, and now you're miserable on the flight. That's life.
You had the ups, now it's the downs.
Exactly. So
you ordered a cheese pizza before bed. You drink the jug, the bucket of Mountain Dew.
I know. That big gulp. You go into the 7-Eleven on the day where it's like any container, and you fill up a 5-gallon thing. Like, you know, that was fun for you, right?
Yeah, it's not like you have some disease where your hair falls out or something, and you're like, oh man, it's just shitty and sucks, and it gets worse and worse.
That's fun. Wearing a bathing suit is not going to be fun. Going on a plane is not going to be fun. You chose your fun, right?
Yeah. And it was probably lit.
Yeah.
It was like you order Uber Eats, you get Chinese food.
Pulled pork nachos. We
do whatever
saw
you
what
want,
you did.
and you slurp it up.
All right.
You can do it, every day. You do sushi, Italian, Chinese food.
It's a tour of the world.
It's a tour of the world. Wow, lucky them.
Yeah, the tour of the world is culinary. You don't actually get on the plane and go. So you're done.
You already did the fun. All right, next section is Urban Decay. In Urban Decay this week, we have updates from cities all across the country. We have Chicago, LA, Oakland, New York City.
Yeah.
It's going to be very good. First is Chicago.
Yeah.
Basically, we have clips and we have stories. We're just going to kind of do them all. And we're going to go fast.
And this is non-migrant Chicago. So we already covered the migrant stuff, the measles, the fake robberies, all that. And then now this is the you-know-who's.
So first is the knife fight.
Yeah, here we go. This is broad daylight downtown Chicago.
Everyone's running, and now it's a full-blown knife fight.
3 knives, you know? And they're big. I think this might be migrants.
Could be migrants.
I think it is.
Damn.
Yeah, there you go. I know. That's how close you are.
Huge knife fight.
I know.
And then there was a robbery attempt on some lady's house. Check out this story. And then the police didn't come for 4 hours.
Michelle says she and a neighbor chased them down the street. Then she says she called 911.
They told me dispatch was on the way and to wait outside.
She says she waited and waited and called and called.
Criminal trespass in progress.
But no police.
An hour and a half goes by. I called a 6th time, and I asked to speak to a 911 supervisor. And he suggested I call my alderman. And I said, why would I call my alderman? He said, encourage him to hire more police.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now it's becoming political.
And that's Wicker Park. That's like a nice, pretty affluent area in Chicago where the criminals are like imported to. Like they don't live there. The people who are committing the group home invasions. So
she had her place attempted to be robbed. She called the cops, and the cops tell her to call
somebody else. Call the alderman.
What's alderman?
It's a political position in Chicago. It's kind of like a neighborhood representative who, is that only Chicago?
Maybe. So call your local community representative and tell them to hire more police.
Yeah.
Like, I just got robbed today.
Yeah,
no one came.
I'm looking to hand someone the videotape of the suspects. I'm not looking to get into politics right now.
Exactly. And you know how the Biden administration always says, like, oh, crime's down?
Yeah.
But it's mostly because, like, no one's reporting their crime anymore. That's the same in that situation and this next clip of people fighting out in the street.
Yeah, this is taken from like a high rise in, again, a nicer downtown area of Chicago. A group of urban youths are just beating the shit out of somebody.
And then in front of the building it says for lease.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure no one wants to be there. This crime is horrible, and I'm sure it's for lease.
For lease, a flagship opportunity. Your store could be looted by these same beaters. And back to what you were saying, it says, this was from CWB Chicago, who also, shout out to CWB Chicago. They're one of like the no nonsense, like true detail-oriented crime reporters and websites in Chicago. They were also the ones who covered the migrant robbery thing that we were talking about to get the U visas.
They do a good job.
Yeah. But here's the context, which is kind of what he said about crimes not being reported. Via the Citizen app, shows a group jumping a man at 39 South State Street yesterday afternoon. Several people reported being randomly attacked by the group along Michigan Avenue, the best shopping district in Chicago, near Millennium Park. No arrests, no formal police reports located. So the Citizen app is buzzing, but crime doesn't get reported that a group of 5 kids are stomping people out in one of the nicest shopping areas in Chicago, right?
And according to the Biden administration, nothing happened.
Yeah, crime is down. And then this guy gets beat up and he goes, am I going to wait 6 hours for a cop to tell me to call an alderman? No, I think I'll just walk home.
I'll just take my fat lip and go home.
I'm not that bad. Yeah, exactly.
And then in Chicago as well, there's a lot of gang violence here in this park. What's the name of this park?
North Avenue Beach. So this is actually, again, a lot of these in Chicago. Wicker Park was that first one. If you know Chicago, you'll understand. Wicker Park, the Magnificent Mile, that near Millennium Park. And then this is North Avenue Beach, which is like, Chicago doesn't have that many beaches. And this is one of, North Ave is like Old Town. So it's a nice part, but the street rats get there anyway, you know?
As always.
Oh, shit. Looks like a big fight.
Attacking the car.
Car decides to throw it in drive. And, you know.
And that was a gang-related thing.
Ran over 2 people. Yeah, this... the commenter said this is actually a gang fight. You can hear someone say, "King kill a bitch." Looks like the occupants of the SUV are Latin kings. So
great.
Gang violence at North Avenue Beach, boys.
Yep. And then there was a tweet that kind of recapped the past week or weekend in Chicago. A weekend.
Yeah, what a weekend in Chicago. Migrants fighting in Pritzker Park. Again, nice area of town. Migrants knife fighting downtown. So that was migrants. Migrants kidnapping 2 people in Jefferson Park. 50 people shot, 3 killed, including a mass shooting in Garfield Park. Several burglaries, robberies, and carjackings.
Wow, what a lovely place.
So it's becoming way worse when you brutally mismanage a city for this long. Like, the police used to beat back people and actually police, and the crime would stay in the criminal pockets. Now it's a free-for-all, and all the nice areas are at risk of driving away the nice suburban people who actually spend their dollars, and they don't steal off the rack.
Yeah.
They actually buy stuff when they go shopping. So they're at risk of losing that.
And then when it comes to the police and what they're doing, we have people like Kim Fox who are trying to get them to not be allowed to do police tactics.
Not having an impact on public safety.
State's Attorney Kim Fox tonight tells the I-Team that before she leaves office early next year, she wants traffic stop-based searches by police to be prohibited unless there is a public safety threat.
Doing these searches, again, searches that have a disproportionate impact on Black and brown communities that don't net a public safety benefit, we should not do that.
I don't think we need to listen to you when it comes to what helps public safety and doesn't, because look what the situation we're in right now.
Yeah. And Kim Fox is the one who wanted to let Jussie Smollett off and got reelected after that. And also, one thing I have a problem with, she kind of lumps in Black and brown people. Brown people are kind of getting the short end of the stick on that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, we're with Black people? I don't know. I think their crime numbers are pretty on their own. It's
that's a good
in their
point.
own category, right?
Anyone not white.
Yeah. And so, like, this is, again, one of those things that we've talked about where the fare jumpers have arrest warrants, right? The people, it's kind of like broken windows policing. And so if some guy turns across 2 lanes while he's speeding and then you pull him over and the car smells like marijuana, yeah, we're not going to prosecute it if you also find a gun in his car and then those bullets are linked to something.
Yeah.
We're not going to prosecute that because it disproportionately affects Black and brown people.
Thanks, Kim Fox.
Thanks, Kim.
All right, let's go to a new city. Let's go to L.A.
All right.
This one's a little less chaotic, but still very bad. This old man was attacked in broad daylight for his Rolex.
We're getting a look at this violent robbery of a man's Rolex watch in downtown L.A. The robber follows the victim into this building on East 1st Street last month, knocks him to the ground. The attacker then starts to pull the watch off the victim's wrist, hitting him hard and repeatedly until he knocks the victim out cold. The attacker then takes the watch and runs off. But just this week, police say they caught the robber. Detectives believe there are likely additional unreported victims of their suspect, 25-year-old Pablo Garcia. They're encouraging those people to come forward.
Maybe it is black and brown. Pablo Garcia.
Yeah, Pablo Garcia, they got him, and they had a decent-sized bond for his bail. I think it was like $400,000 or something.
Oh, that's the thing, too. You can kind of rob someone, but this is just a strong arm. You're knocking out like an elderly man.
Who probably served in a war.
I know.
Sad. And then another situation in L.A., was this zombie girl.
Yeah, this is the pursuit suspect who, for 45 minutes, led LAPD in a pursuit, slamming her van into patrol cars multiple times, causing at least one officer to crash, and then crashing head-on into innocent drivers on the 405 freeway. And here she is all bloodied up, looking crazy. What do you think? Viral reptile shit took over or what?
It looks like it's fully taken over,
right.
Yeah.
And there's your white woman in Urban Decay, guys.
There you go.
Shut your apple.
Equal opportunity offenders.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Oakland.
This one is kind of my favorite.
So first things first, the streetlights in Oakland were replaced with stop signs because the homeless were taking all the copper wires.
Drive on the busy East 12th Street, you'll come to this high-hanging stop sign above the road. Neighbors say city workers replaced the traffic lights with 4-way stop signs in the last week.
It's just telling us that the city is giving up on us.
Courtesy of Google Earth, this was how the intersection looked before. But neighbors say those lights haven't worked in months. They were either blinking red or completely out.
This is a brand new solution to a problem that's taken many forms here.
Mason Young lives near the intersection. He believes the stop signs are better than non-working traffic lights, which he believes.
The hipster doofus thinks it works better.
Trans idiot.
And then if you look at the beginning of this video, you can see just the row of RVs and semi-homelessness along the encampment. And I think part of the reason they did this is because people were trying to steal the copper wiring that were for these lights.
And then they hack into the lights and they use the power.
Yeah, the electricity.
It sucks all the power and the electricity out. The same thing happened to Tesla. We'll play the clip here in the background, but I think this was in San Francisco, which is Northern California as well.
Yeah.
They just cut all the wires in the Tesla chargers because there's copper inside. They don't care how illegal it is or who needs it or what it's for. There's just copper right there and no one's guarding
There's
it.
copper there right now. I can get $20 a pound for it. I'm going, baby.
Yep.
And this is one of those things where I get so pissed off because not only are we the congressional budget, all the LA and San Fran spending on homelessness, I think we covered it's running into the multiple billions. We spend so much money on them, and then they in turn cause damage to us. Like, it's kind of like there's a little deal in place. Like, it's California. Like, all the rich people take care of you retards. Just don't fuck with our stuff. But then they're slicing the Tesla thing. So it's not only wasting money on them, but then they're causing economic damage back to you, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So they're not fulfilling their end of the social idiot contract, right?
That's a good point. And then our last clip from Oakland, this old man had his Corvette stolen.
No consequences in this city. People can steal and rob. God, it's like a stab in the heart. So they knew how to drive the car because it was a stick and they just went right out. It hurts. It's because it's my life. My whole life has been the hot rod cars since I was 14 years old.
Poor guy.
80-year-old man just has one nice thing, the Corvette, and what happens?
Just gets stolen.
Nobody's locked up enough, so his 1959 Corvette worth $200K is gone.
And that was days before his 80th birthday.
Poor guy.
Very sad. All right, let's go to New York City. We have
We're hitting them all.
We're hitting them all. New York City, they're surfing on top of the buses.
Yep.
There's something new.
Señores, miren lo que es Nueva York. Miren lo que es Nueva York. Un muchacho.
Nueva New York, man.
Nueva York.
So
no bueno.
Yeah, no buenos. They're on top of the bus. That's enough. We get it.
Yeah, I'd like to see those, I wasn't going to say die, but I'd like to see them get severely injured on that.
Fall off and see what happens next.
Yeah.
Let's go to our next clip. This woman who I think used to be Miss
USA or something.
USA New York or whatever. This is like a new style of mugging kids are doing.
If you live in New York City or know of anyone who lives here, be careful. Yesterday I was sitting in Madison Square Park in nature, minding my business, listening to a podcast, and these two boys came over to me and they were fundraising for their basketball team. They allegedly play in South Bronx and they can't afford their uniforms, and they were giving me the whole spiel. I agreed to give them some money, but I didn't have any cash on me, so they accepted Venmo and Zelle.
You guys know where it's going. The kids took her phone, sent themselves $2,000, ran away. There was never a basketball team. It's like the end of a movie, like a Leo DiCaprio movie. Everybody wakes up. There was never a basketball team. Like, what's his name? Zimmer?
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer. It's like, he's conducting an orchestra.
How are you going to buy your uniform? Oh.
There was never a uniform. Sand goes between her fingers. So this girl got fucking cooked. She's an idiot. She let two young black kids have her phone, and then they sell themselves $2,000. And there's nothing they can do. The police can't help you. She's calling the bank. That's probably one of the worst parts about being a victim of one of these crimes. The 8 hours on hold or talking to a representative or trying to, you set yourself up for 8 hours of work, basically, trying to get a transaction reversed.
And exactly like you said, there's not much the police can do when you hand your unlocked phone with your banking apps to some young entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And that's where the phrase, if there's blacks, don't relax, comes from.
Oh, wow. You went there.
That's a phrase people say, and it's from situations like this.
Well, and then not only that, but it's like they do these crimes, and then I'll never donate to a basketball team, ever. There probably is a legitimate basketball team. There was actually, outside of Publix recently, I gave a nice group of young white girls $10 because they were in their softball uniforms and their mothers were there.
I believe them.
That ring true to me. Two kids walking up with a box of candy in Central Park or we're at Washington Square Park doesn't ring true to me.
Yeah, me neither. All right, we have a couple articles with some euphemisms. First is a New York City brute.
Yeah, NYC brute kicks 79-year-old in face, knocking him out in vicious, unprovoked attack. Thank you, NYC brute.
And then a knife-wielding maniac who allegedly smashed windshield of NYPD patrol car with cops inside before attacking them, released by judge.
Well, we knew where that was going. We knew he wasn't going to get locked up by judge,
So the guy had a knife and he attacked the cops. Then he gets released by a judge. And then, unrelated, New York City cops' head count is at an all-time low.
Faces record lows not seen in decades. 200 cops leaving each month.
Why would the cops leave?
Why would the cops leave? The knife-wielding maniac, they need to catch him again.
Yeah.
The judge let him out.
Exactly. All right, our last page of Urban Decay. These are some tweets that kind of just summed up what's going on. And you know how everyone was like mad when George Floyd died?
Yeah.
And Joe Biden gives a speech at Morehouse and says black people are under attack and you have all these things to fear and white supremacy is the biggest problem. And it makes you think that there's actually an issue.
Yeah.
And then you might think that black people are nervous about this issue. That's why they're so upset. Mm-hmm. It's actually not the case. And there's a tweet that summed it up about how black people don't hate injustice. They actually just hate white people.
Yeah, this is kind of in relation to the Tyre Nichols case, who was violently beaten by 5 black Memphis police officers. And this tweet is from Amiri King. He says, black people don't hate injustice. They hate white people, plain and simple. Most black people, not all. Case in point, 29-year-old Tyre Nichols was violently beaten to death by 5 Memphis police officers. We all saw the gruesome footage of the beating. It made me physically wince. However, the incident sparked 1/2000th of the outrage Derek Chauvin caused by kneeling on an overdosed George Floyd. One was infinitely worse than the other, but nobody cared. Why? Because Derek Chauvin was white. Full stop. Think about it. More than 88% of murdered blacks are killed by other blacks. In fact, murder is the #1 killer of young black men. But nobody bats a fucking eye. It's business as usual. But as soon as Daniel Penny eats a man for threatening to kill an entire subway car full of passengers, all hell breaks loose. Racist, you white supremacist me. Let me tell you something. Killing black people is like saying the N-word. It's okay as long as you are black. And fuck you if you don't like it. I speak nothing but truth. Cope, seethe, loot, AutoZone. If this gets you in your feelings, good. That means I don't fuck with you. All right, I kind of read it a little long there. He kind of just started shit talking. All right.
But that's exactly true. Like that situation where those 5 black cops killed that guy.
They stomped him out.
That was way worse than George Floyd.
That was Rodney King level shit. Like
And
where
no
it's
one cared.
on camera, beating, coming back to it, and nothing happens, right?
Yeah, but nothing happens. No one cared, which is interesting. And then, just to be fair here on the show, here's a white guy getting confronted by the police. He's getting in the cop's face. We're going to censor the part where he gets shot.
He's got a mental breakdown. He's got a death wish, right?
And he starts heading over to the cops. He's got a knife in his hand or some sort of weapon. And then he gets shot and killed.
Yeah. So,
but we don't look at that and go, oh, that could have been me, because I don't ever aggressively approach cops with weapons.
I have no empathy or any sort of, feeling of standing with this guy, right?
We're not going to extrapolate and be like, cops are killing us or we're under attack, and I'm not going to go loot Tommy Bahama.
I'm not going to go loot the Brooks Brothers store, even though their shit's so expensive and it's never on sale.
Yeah, it'd be a good time to get it for free with some justification.
I know.
All right.
I really want to loot the Brooks Brothers.
I'm glad we made our points and we went full circle with it.
Yeah.
Let's go on to Uplifting Gold. Don't get too down or too depressed. We have some uplifting stuff that will make you happy and forget all that negative, horrible stuff we had to cover.
Yeah, we had to.
First is the guy who pranks the Asian cleaning lady.
I just need your help with this.
What is that?
Can you just help me wrap the legs?
Oh, okay. Who is that?
Sorry?
Who's that?
Just the last maid.
How do you wrap it? It's my first time.
It's your first time? Yeah.
Yeah. I came here to clean.
And we can fast forward a little bit. She eventually helps him drag out the body. And they go, oh, it was just a prank. He's alive.
We're just pranking you.
But she was down.
You're my accomplice.
She was down to help, and that's not an actor.
I know.
So I like that, actually.
All right.
It's pretty good.
Okay, you found that uplifting? Moving a woman willing to commit a heinous crime, covering up a murder. You found that uplifting.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how the Asians are. They don't complain. They don't rat you out. They go, what's the job, and when can I leave, and where's the money?
Okay.
So respect.
Fair.
Rat roulette.
Yeah.
For all you degenerates out there. New place to put your paychecks. So they put the rat underneath, they spin the thing around, they pull the top off, and the rat goes into one of the holes. It's rat roulette.
It's roulette with an extra step. It's a sentient rat.
It's kind of lit.
Yeah, there you go.
That's uplifting.
6-1.
Very cool. All right, let's go to the guy who eats shit on the jump.
All right.
This is Americana. It's a little wet out, and the jump is just a table. Now you're fucked.
I like that, though.
Yep, and then let's do the model plane landing perfectly. Here it comes. Pretty good.
That can fuck you up.
Yeah, it can fuck you up. Then we'll go to Bryson DeChambeau, who got second place in that golf tournament over the weekend. He went to give a ball to a kid, but that he signed, but then some guy took it, and he went and caught the guy.
Get that ball back!
And he brought the ball back,
Man for the people.
and he said, make sure you give it to that kid. That's uplifting.
Yeah, the kid got it.
Bryson DeChambeau, show watcher.
And presumed show watcher.
Yeah,
presumed. And Bryson does a big signature on the ball, so, he give it to a kid, not some scalper or some little rat who runs away. So
I forgot to say presumed.
Yeah, presumed.
And then our last clip is this baby who's very sophisticated.
Yeah, this has kind of been going crazy on TikTok, so.
I have a question for everybody. Who wants to go to the Four Seasons Orlando?
The baby should know that.
He knows how to do it.
The baby should not say me, right? And this is sprung on some memes, so.
Who wants to go to the Four Seasons Orlando?
I would be delighted, Mother, to accompany you on this exhilarating excursion.
Pretty
All right,
good.
you get the
And
point.
another AI one, right?
Yeah.
I have a question for everybody. Who wants to go to the Four Seasons Orlando?
Dearest Mother, oh how the heart yearns to impart upon thee the splendour and magnificence that is the Four Seasons in Orlando. Imagine, if you will, a realm.
TikTok's going crazy on this baby, but it's nice to see an advanced baby, you know?
Advanced.
Very advanced baby. So,
Yep.
I don't know.
That is...
I don't know what our point is, but it's good to see some people are still operating at a high level, even as a toddler or below toddler.
Yeah.
Infant.
And it's good to see babies.
Yeah.
Babies make you naturally happier.
Absolutely.
That's why we end the show with babies a lot.
Smart.
All right, we're ending the show. We usually do our shout-outs on Friday, and that's going to continue. But we do have one special shout-out that we're going to do today for a very special person, Angela, who's a show watcher, bonus lander, and in Richard Rapway's Rat Chat.
In the Rat Chat. Happy birthday, Angela.
Happy birthday.
Multiple people reached out on your behalf, so you have a vast support system who really wants you to have a happy birthday. Yeah. And they told me you're 30... Early 30s, they say.
30-something.
They won't give us an exact figure, but happy birthday. You're a pillar of the Rat Chat, and have a great day.
One of our number one supporters, her and her husband also wrote the Fleccas...
on the drywall.
The drywall.
Like that, yeah.
Fleccas Talks podcast, best new podcast of all time, written on the drywall during construction. Watching the show for years. We greatly appreciate it. We love you, Angela. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. True great supporters. So.
Yep. Thank you guys for watching. Another Fleccas Talks in the books. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. FleccasMerch.com for the best merch in the game. FleccasTalks.com for 30-minute bonus land dropping right now. If you guys love the show and you're watching at this point, you should probably join Bonus Land. Angela will be there.
Yeah.
Come hang out with us. We'll see you there. And if not, we'll see you Friday.
You're out of control.
Because if I
Chairman,
come and talk shit about her, y'all gonna have a problem.